This is Miss Sherman's Humanities Lesson 2.4, the week of November 12th. We had Monday off for a holiday. The assignments due this week are Student Activism Activity 2.3, and make sure you're keeping up with your reading and writing logs. I should have 1.1 already handed in to me, and the rest is up to you for self-pacing. This week's objective. I can research activism online and identify the key elements of a social movement, so that I can understand and identify the research necessary for my final project, keeping in mind that we'll start your final project next week. I know I'm successful when I can analyze and correctly cite my research. So we practiced with citations on the last activity, and we're going to continue practicing. So if you go into Google Classroom, you'll see your student activist timeline activities. Everybody have that up? So it's activity 2.3, I think. So this timeline's different. So you're not going to make a copy of it. You're not going to comment on it just yet. But this is one that we're all going to work on. So everybody has editing rights to this and content rights. Each student will upload 2 multimedia files. One should be a video file about the activist action they choose. So on this timeline, I've given you an example, but I've also given you a bunch of different events that happened, and you get to choose whatever one you want. If there's an event that you're aware of, an activism event that happened, go ahead and add it on here. Add it as you're going to do this guy and you're going to do heading. There's no other reason for you to heading unless there's something on here that you want to add. I'm totally okay if there's something else you want to add on here that's happening. Remember, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. So what you're going to do is you're going to choose whatever timeline on the activity, and then you're going to write a paragraph with 2 cited sources that describe the target of oppression, the oppressors, the allies, activists, location of what's going on. I think most of them have the location. Type of activism, rights or laws violated or fighting for. So this is going back to the activity that we just did last week, 2.3. So in 2.3, you had to also identify these, right? So in 2.3, you had to identify the targets of oppressors, allies. So again, revisiting that activity to do this activity. So you're going to do the work online. As soon as you pick your timeline, write your name. See how I wrote my name in the headline? Just write it, because if you're like taking your time and you're doing all the research and somebody puts their name there, they automatically get it. You each can only do 1 timeline. It's not a partner activity. Everybody just gets to do 1 for all 3 blocks. So make sure you write your name as soon as you decide that's the one you want to do. And then after you do that, you're going to do some research to find out these things. And you're going to write a paragraph. So this is my paragraph that I wrote about the Newsies. What happened? One of them. So those are events that you can pick that had activism happened. So those are just to give you ideas. If you were like, you know what, actually I want to do the Chilean Revolution last year, go ahead and do that. That's just to give you ideas of how to start your research. Because if you just Google search student activism, you're not going to get a lot. But if you Google search these events, you're going to get an activist. You're going to get a type of activism, a location, and all these things. So once you decide on these, then you're going to write your paragraph. So when you write your paragraph, I want you guys to practice citing. We all use information from the internet. It's okay to use it, but the stuff that you directly copy should be in quotations. So this one, I directly copied from extra. See that? I directly copied that. That's okay for me to directly copy that, because when I went back to my story, I put it in quotation marks, which means I copied it. And then I cited it. So all of you guys should know how to use citation by now. If you don't, I'm happy to help you. So all I had to do was go up to this little guy, which is loaded on your computer. If it's not, I can help you load it, and there's a link on your assignment. And I did that. So it's going to give me 2 different citations. Always choose APA, but this one is the insight citation. So that's the one that you use in the text. So see how my citation, this one, is my insight citation. I didn't have to make that up. It did it for me. So it did it for me right here. Oh, not that guy, this guy. And then the big citation, which is the formatted one, is here. All you do is click it to copy. and you paste it down here, sourcing. This is exact APA formatting. If you go to college, if you have to take a test, if you want to go to community college, you will be asked to cite your sources. Cheating in any English class will get you kicked out or will get you failed. It depends on the school. So you really want to learn this citation process. So you don't have to learn it. Remember, it's just a click and a button. You use one sentence, cool, put quotes around it. The rest of it should be your own words. You should tell me who the targets of oppression is. So I identified the year. In 1899, newsies in New York City would buy newspapers directly from the publishers at wholesale price, then sell them on the street corners. Now this is the part I got from the article. Newsboys not only had to pay more for the newspapers they sold, but were not refunded any unsold newspapers. At the time, they were only earning 26 cents a day. So these were kids ages 7 to 15. So this is the target of oppression. I put it in bold so I knew that those were the target of oppression, the newsboys. Trouble began when media moguls William Randolph Hearst and Joseph Pulitzer, so I put those are the oppressors, so I remember that's what's going on, and also other newspaper people, started shorting boys bundles. So they would charge them for 50 and maybe only give them 40. So that's what shorting bundles is. And increase their wholesale price by 10 cents. So newspapers, in response to this, they couldn't make money, or newsboys in response to this couldn't make money, so they did rallies. That's a form of activism. They did strikes. So my other quote that I got was, many rallies were hosted and brought more than 5,000 newsboys across the city. All rallies included speeches given by none other than the leader of the strike, Kid Blink. You should also know at least one person in the strike. As a result, so these things. Targets of oppression, the oppressions, allies, activists, location, type of activism, rights or laws are violating, so they wanted more money, right? All of that should be clear in your paragraph. It has to have 2 cited sources, put a picture, put a video, and you're done. We will start on your final project next week. You can use this information for your final project, so don't think you're committed to it. You can totally choose something else for your final project, but if you find something and you're like, you know what, the Black Lives Matter movement, that actually speaks to me, that's what I want to do, you can use this research again in your final project. So you can double dip for this one. But for right now, I just want you guys getting comfortable getting sources. Cool. Questions on what we're supposed to do today? You'll have all tomorrow for the 2 hours tomorrow to work on this, and I'll give you time to do some reading logs and catch up with that. And then next week, I'll show you an example of what the final project looks like, and I'll give you guys the final project. The final project, I'm laying out step by step. So your first part, steps 1 and 2, are due next week. You have the week off for Thanksgiving. Step 3 is due the week after that. Step 4 is due here. So when everybody's freaking out the week of the 18th, you're already done. You already edited yours. You finished it the first week in December, if you stay on track. Cool? Questions? Awesome.